Hello, I'm Gavin, and this is Genre Books, and here is a February book haul. History of the Science Fiction Magazine, Part 1, 1926 to 1935, by Mike Ashley, or Michael Ashley, as he was going by in the mid-70s. So with my dive into pulp magazines, this is going to be going near the top of my TBR for stuff to get stuck into. He writes very authoritatively about old science fiction. I've got a book of his on the shelves behind me somewhere called Yesterday's Tomorrows, which goes back even further than 1926 in looking at science fiction. So interested to see what he picks out as the standout titles and authors of this particular time. The God Whale by T.J. Bass. That's first edition hardback from Wherein from 1985, 86. So yeah, looking forward to reading that. From Realms Beyond by Leo Brett. Leo Brett, one of the many pseudonyms of the Reverend Lionel Fanthorpe, he of 14 Times fame and prolific author of the 60s, 50s and beyond, and a nice little badge of books, paperback. Another Methuen science fiction, this time a paperback science fiction, John Brunner, The Wrong End of Time. John Christopher, The Possessors. I've read a lot of John Christopher in the last 18 months, 2 years or so. The Death of Grass, Wrinkle in the Skin, The World in Winter, Empty World. Not an author I'd read since I was a child, when I read his Tripod series, but certainly in The Death of Grass, Empty World, Wrinkle in the Skin, The World in Winter, finds new and interesting ways to end the planet. Let's see if he does the same in The Possessors, or if it's about something completely different. And in Pan Science Fiction, an Arthur C. Clarke classic that I have not read. Cycle of Fire by Hal Clement, Ballantine Books, paperback, in surprisingly good shape considering it's from 1970. I'm not sure it's been read, but unbroken spine, lovely clean covers. Edmund Cooper, The Uncertain Midnight. He writes with great authority and skill, says Arthur C. Clarke. And lovely old ace paperbacks, Gordon R. Dixon, The Genetic General. One I'm particularly pleased to get hold of to add to my collection of Ballantine adult fantasy, Beyond the Worlds We Know by Lord Dunsany. He is Dunsany, apparently, not Dunsany. Who knew? Another paperback from Quartet Books. This is Dare by Philip Jose Farmer, so expecting some craziness there. Mindbridge by Joe Haldeman. Well, this book I've seen a few times about, and have never got it before. Decided to take the plunge. This is the Harvard Lampoon Board of the Rings, obviously parody of Lord of the Rings, and let's hope it makes me laugh. Another Pan science fiction, Robert Holdstock, I Amongst the Blind. A science fiction trilogy from the mid-80s. I remember seeing these in bookshops at the time and never got round to them, so I will give them a go now. It's Mike Jeffries' The Road to Underfall, Palace of Kings, and Shadowlight. Edited by Damon Knight, a collection of Nebula Award Stories. Nebula Award Stories Volume 1 with a crazy cover. And then a number of Fritz Leiber books. Gather Darkness in Foursquare, in Mayflower, A Spectre is Haunting Texas, in Panther, The Secret Songs, and in Penguin, Conjure Wife. The Men Inside by Barry N. Maltzberg, and you can see how old this paperback is. 20p from W.H. Smith. A Decade of Fantasy and Science Fiction, edited by Robert P. Mills, it says somewhere there. A little bit of a sort of tatty and faded cover, book not in the best of condition, but works here by Raymond E. Banks, Manly Wade Wellman, Avram Davidson, John Masefield, Paul Anderson, Ogden Nash, Asimov, Zena Henderson, Alfred Bester, Ward Moore, Horace Walpole, Theodore Sturgeon. So there's a real mix of writers available there. Continuing in the tatty paperbacks section is two works by Michael Moorcock in his Mars series. I believe he wrote these under the name of Edward P. Bradbury, and a Michael Moorcock which he wrote under published under his own name originally, The Black Corridor. Then a couple of paperbacks by authors I'm not familiar with at all. Starbrat by John Morrissey, and The Last Refuge by John Petty. And then two works which I've not read from the recently departed Christopher Priest. I've got Real Time World there, New English Library paperback. And in Orbit, The Space Machine, which is that a Chris Foss cover? Looks like a Chris Foss cover. Is it going to tell me? Demon Breed by James H. Schmitz, and if you thought 20p at W.H. Smith was too high a price to pay for a book, you could pick one up for 12p from Woolies. Corgi Science Fiction now, and Bob Shaw Nightwalk. Magnum Books paperback, which is I think an imprint of Methuen. It's Clifford D. Simak, Cemetery World. And the final two I have in the Pan paperback series, Case and the Dreamer by Theodore Sturgeon, and Up the Walls of the World by James Tiptree Jr. And following Pan, some Panther, and the last two books for this haul, both by Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough, and that is Time of the Fourth Horseman and Cautionary Tales. So I already have a quite rammed TBR for 2024, but I will see if I can fit some of these in. I certainly want to get to Childhood's End and the John Christopher as well, but let's see what else I can fit in. Bye.